That alone, verse number 52. The sky shall glow as radiant sound. On that day, all visible configurations will become extinct in that. Thereafter, the sound that completes the three-petaled awareness becomes silent and self-luminous. Commentary. We come to know our world by seeing the many things of which it is constituted. Everything we have seen from childhood to this day is put together to formulate the world for us. Whatever we have seen has also been named. We have heard the names of things as well as explanations of them in so many words from other people. A thing may seem simple when we look at it, but hundreds of words are needed to explain just one entity. The experiences of people who have gone before us are passed on to us through words, either written or spoken. Thus, the great universe we think of geographically and historically, or spatially and temporally, is mostly made up of word content. If we dismiss from our minds all that we have heard so far, all the ideas formulated with the help of words, almost nothing is left. Such is the enormity of the world we have created out of words. The word that is now coming to you from me is transmitted by a certain vibration I am producing in the atmosphere. There is truth in what the physicists say, that sound is transmitted to you through air, but it is not air itself that is creating the sound. It is a very mysterious force indeed. In the case of sunlight, we are at least familiar with photons, but when it comes to sound, it is far more mysterious. As the pitch and frequency vary, the sound gains many qualities, and what we call the psychodynamics of sound arises. The psychic expansion of space, or the extensiveness of the psyche, if you prefer, is called Akasha. Everything has its place in Akasha. Its intrinsic quality or dharma is sound. For this reason, sound can affect everything. It can influence, alter, build up, or destroy. According to Jaimini's school of Purva Mimamsa, this world is constituted of sound. They believe that since this world is created out of sound, you can change or modify it to your liking by using sound. They have made many sound structures called mantras. Mantras have a dynamic called mantra chaitanya, the psychodynamics of mantra which can bring about such changes. We know that sound is very powerful. We can produce certain sounds that will hurt or please another person. With sound, we command, lead, instruct, excite, express our grief, console, pacify, inspire. We can enchant with so many subtle varieties of music. Gentle sound can make you soar high into sublime heights. It can lead you to the depth of your own self. Innumerable are the possibilities of sound. Sound as such is called Shabda, and a modification of Shabda is called Dhvani. In Sanskrit, the entire world of literature is called Dhvanyaloka, a world that is seen through sound. A poet weaves an entire tapestry of a colorful universe using only words. The vowels and consonants used in language are called varna, colorations, in this case meaning the color of the sounds. With the colors of the sounds, we paint pictures of ideas. What one person articulates, another visualizes. This is one of the greatest wonders of life. An idea comes into my mind, and I can convey it to you by breathing and moving my tongue and mouth in a certain way. I direct my prana, my vital breath, in such a way that it causes vibrations or sounds, and these vibrations convey meaning. The prana rises from my heart or the depth of my psyche to become meaningful. Here I am combining two things, prana and the word. If I shorten or lengthen my prana, it changes the sound I am articulating. I can say Om or I can say Aum. That way it becomes musical. Either way, it is the same word and the meaning does not change, but the effect is different. The meaning part is called Rik, and the musical quality produced by prolonging the breath is called Sama. When Rik and Sama are coupled, it produces a psychic phenomenon. This world itself is a psychic phenomenon created out of sound. Nobody knows what magnetism is. We do not know that when a magnetized piece of iron is brought near another piece of iron, there is a great pull, a great attraction. However much we carefully examine it, though, we don't see what's exactly going on. When we pass on from magnetism to electricity, we speak of an electromagnetic field. Electricity has such a variety of qualities. It can emit fire. It can make something very cold. It can power the world, and it can even stop your heart from beating. We see what it can do, but do we understand electricity any more than we do magnetism? In the same way, we know something of the propensities and potentials of sound, but we are very much ignorant of its essential nature. Sound in its purest form is called para, which is on a par with the absolute. It is unmodified, unmodulated sound. In it we can see a certain possibility of visualizing an idea and transforming the sound in such a way that the vision can be conveyed to another person. There needs to be a homogeneity of the visualization and the unmodified sound for the visualization to be communicated through sound. The homogeneity of the sound and the visualization is called pashyanti, seeing. In other words, the capacity to see in a medium which is essentially auditory. Once a visualization is expressed, it undergoes some transformation. I have to wait for my idea to be expressed. If I want to express it in English, I have to structure the sounds in a certain way, while if it is to be given in Sanskrit, it should be structured in another way. If I know the language well, I don't have to belabor myself. It comes of its own. The sounds get structured automatically. I don't have to think which sounds are dental and which are labial. I just decide to speak, and all the sounds come. It's a great wonder. The sound you have just expressed and articulated is called Vaikhari. When you articulate a sound, it is just like when a person bangs a drum once, dhum. When the drum is hit in rhythm, it makes a modulation. And when modulations come, the dhun becomes a dhwani, which starts making sense to you. If a beat is given in a certain way, at once you can see a pattern in it. Then you can anticipate. Before the next beat comes, your mind is already there. If it goes wrong with you, it causes dissonance. But if it goes right, it resonates with you because your spirit is already in tune with it. The dhvani out there and the dhvani within us resonate with each other. The mathematics of music is already within us because we are sound. Dhvani is the whole world of sound with all its richness. The artist's palette creates all the colors out of a few basic ones. Like that, we can combine a few basic sounds to make all the sounds and all their meanings. How many words are there articulated in the magnitude of human languages with which our world abounds? Truly endless are the possibilities of sound combinations. I sit here speaking plainly with you, but some other things which I might want only a certain person to understand, I do not say explicitly. Thus a word has both a literal and an implied meaning. When I put an implied meaning into my words, it is also called dhvani. As the implied meaning becomes more and more prominent, it becomes poetic. As long as it is a straightforward, square sound, like explanations in a physics textbook, there is no scope for any poetry in it. 2 grams means 2 grams, but poetry is full of dhvani. There is a vibration, an echo of a vibration in your soul. Creating that echo in your soul is another aspect of dhvani. In this verse, Narayana Guru is speaking of the possibility of the vast space of your consciousness becoming vibrant with one great sound, which will dissolve away in it all separate visions. I spoke of Vaikhari, the articulated sounds, the word pictures you paint. You see all of these in your mind as separate entities. Such separations are totally effaced when the great sound becomes so vibrant. Knowledge or consciousness may be compared to light. Light can vary from the most feeble ray to the brilliance of 1,000,000 suns shining all at once. If there is no light, you don't see anything. If there is a little light, it makes a contrast between light and shadow. With more light, there is a sharper contrast with the darker shadow. But if the light is coming from everywhere and there is no shadow left, you can't see anything. The most intense light effaces the distinctions between the source of the light and the illuminated object. If you take the analogy still further, it also takes away the difference between the seer and the seen. The seer, the seen, and the seeing are all just one light. The Guru here says, Gaganam Jwalikkum, the sky of your consciousness is blazing forth in such brilliance. He began with the sound. Now he says the sound is blazing forth, leaping into flames. The very sky of your consciousness is on fire. It is radiant. Within that radiance, it is so bright that you do not see any difference between things. The Guru says all those details of vision are effaced in the one radiance of this great splendor of light. In another work describing his own experience, as well as elsewhere in this one, Narayana Guru says the highest discrimination of the self comes like 10,000 suns shining all at once, or like 1,000,000 suns rising all at once. Thus comes the great experience of realization. When such an experience comes, the individuations and differentiations of things are all effaced by it. After that, the tri-basic consciousness, the knower, knowledge, and the known, become complemented and as one, so there is no distinction. What causes this? A certain swanam, a certain sound. In the Mandukya, Chandogya, and Katha Upanishads, it is said that all we experience in the present, the past, and the future is only modifications of Om. What we experience as the gross in the wakeful, the subtle in the dream, and the causal in deep sleep are all variations of the one sound Om. If the secret of Om is open to us, then the gross, the subtle, and the causal all merge into the pure silence that follows it. This is called Turiya, the fourth state. When everything existing merges into that fourth state, there is no longer the knower, the known, and knowledge. They have all become completed and merged into the sound of Om. That place shines by itself as a pure light. Adanam idam swayam prakasham. This is an experience, or the experience, which is on a par with what we hear of the Buddha getting his enlightenment under the bo tree, the angel called to Muhammad in the cave, or the Holy Spirit descended upon Jesus to confer upon him the grace whereby he becomes the Son of God. It is equivalent to these, the highest possible experience one can have. The person becomes the all-embracing consciousness, which bursts out in a flame of such brilliance that it effaces everything. Thereafter there is no sound, or the only sound is that which at one level is the wakeful world, at another level the dream world, and at still another level the deep sleep world. They are all now merged into the fourth state of pure transcendence. In that transcendence, nothing is left behind. It just shines by itself. This is the state to which a person comes at the height of his illumination. The free translation of verse 52 is as follows. When the sky of consciousness is enflamed with the vibrancy of sound, the word, all perceptual forms disappear in its radiant blaze. When in that splendor the small voice that gives finality to the threefold segmentation of awareness also ceases, there prevails only the radiance of the Self.